Okay.
Welcome. Please, let's take Emmanuel Tibila Boase's question. Go ahead, sir.
Please, last time you said our next topic would be, is it business ethics? Please, are you continuing with that one, or we are doing the discussion that we had the other time?
Because of how things have gone with a little bit of a confusion here and there, in how the communication on how to conduct our lectures has gone, we want to keep the first week on the first 3 lectures that we've done, so that all those
Okay.
who, for some reason, had to be added to the site late, thought that it would be in person, so they went to lecture halls and got stranded and all that. The communication from the university system was a little bit of a back and forth. You all can bear us out.
Yes,
Day
please.
after being told that you should do fully online, you get another notice that let's do 70% in person and 30% online for our level 100s. Then afterwards, after some few concerns raised here and there, another notice comes that, okay, manage it as you can. So the student body has been a little bit, how do I say it, short change here and there, because you give one notice. Just this done, I've had to update our course outline now that I think there's some stability. So those who have seen it will see that I've clearly outlined the weeks that we will do in person and those that we will do online. I have also clarified the mode of engagement, which days we can do in person and which other days we can do online, how we plan to manage our city campus, and blah, blah, blah. So it's quite difficult. As I speak with you now, my dear friend, even the site, the Sakai site, through no fault of some students, they are still not on the site yet, even though they do
Yes.
not have because of systemic issues or whatever it is. So I've taken it upon myself really to manually add those who prompt me. I have sent notices over and over again. If you haven't been migrated to the Sakai platform yet, the first week just went by. And it is not your fault per se, but it can be your fault if you don't make use of the opportunity I have given you as your instructor. I don't have any qualms at all. It's quite difficult to have to add that schedule to an already difficult schedule. I hope it will help the student to now be able to access content, deadlines, schedules, resources, and feel a part of the class. Why not? So I have asked people to send that to me so they can see their site and know that, oh, we are meeting so and so time. This is the channel link for this, so and so. Okay. So because of all those things, we are keeping to our first 3 topics, and that is still within our schedule of the course outline. We haven't gone out of it at all. So that from Monday onwards, we will now engage substantive topics. I'll be uploading resources. I plan to upload the content I have done on another ethical issue, business ethics, consequentialism, deontology, objectivism, subjectivity, what have you, all of those together in another video that I'll upload. Those are very accessible content. They are not too difficult. And then hopefully for the in-person lecture, we will engage the next topic after that, which is a bit more substantive. As in terms of the philosophy in it is quite, should I say, deep. So you would need help. You will need help to understand that content. So the in-person lecture may want to consider Plato's two worlds, the question of reality, the question of the self, a theory of human nature, and all that. I'll give you prior notice so that you read towards that. I do not think that we should use our in-person lecture to do utility or rule, objectivity, relativism. They are all ethical issues and they are not too difficult philosophy. Okay, but the question of reality versus appearance, the question of the self, maybe a theory of human nature. Those ones I think you would need possibly an in-person interaction of the sort. So simply put, yes, sir, this week we will still elaborate on our question. Maybe if you have other questions from your reading of the text, the required text that you have come to purchase. If you have questions from that, I would want to throw light on it. If you have questions on you're reading the refer. Usually, I put references for each of those topics. You want us to trash it out. I'm here to respond to that. And then from next week, God willing, we will take 2 worlds. Let us 2 worlds. I think I have given you some content on that also in the compiled readings, or you could Google and read around a little bit. Right. So, is there any other question? No. If there's any other question, please raise your hand. If there isn't a question, then I may take Emmanuel's question that he wanted to raise on business ethics for our reflection. Because if no one is speaking there, then he has something he wanted to ask on business ethics, and I'll be glad to throw some light on it for him. What is philosophy? Metaphysical questions, epistemological questions, those ones. The ethical is not religious necessarily, neither is the ethical necessarily legal. I could ask you, using a practical instance, show that philosophical is an ethical question need not necessarily be religious. Give a defense to your view on this. So then it means you use a practical instance. You will pick some issue that borders on ethics and religion and show that what is ethical may not necessarily be what is legal, and vice versa. You will pick the scenario, then you would elaborate, show the ethical issues in it, highlight the religious ones, and then you would show that this thing being ethical may not necessarily mean it being legal, or vice versa. Argue it and then get your points. Emmanuel, your hand is up again. Please go ahead, sir.
Please, with the ethical issues, there was a question in the slide. If you're able to tell a lie to save a life. I remember we had a discussion like that, and some people said sometimes you have to tell a lie so that you can save the person or something like that. And I don't quite understand.
Is it you don't understand, or you want to know what I think?
Yes, I want to know what you think.
So as for understanding, they understand it. But when someone says it's possible you would want to tell a lie to save a life, and someone says, well, if you keep telling lies, then we won't be able to save any life. Because when you tell the people that, oh, the guy didn't come here because he want to save his life, I'm robber that ran into your parish. You know that if you told them that he's at the back there, they will kill him. So you tell a lie. If people know that we have made telling a lie valuable, then when you tell them he's not here, they will know that you have told a lie. It means that we can't trust people any longer. When you want to marry someone's daughter, they'll tell you, oh, take care of him, or say, oh, but we know that we say things that we don't mean. We value telling lies. So why should I believe what you are telling me? The whole society will break down. There can't be law, there can't be politics, there can't be religion. When the pastor says, oh, please help us gather these resources to take care of the poor, nobody will give because we have endorsed lie. That's the implication. People don't know. They think that, oh, as for lie, because if you save Mokwe, it's okay. If you tell a little lie to save someone, why should that be a problem? It shouldn't be an issue of ethics. We shouldn't underestimate lie telling. You shouldn't make it look as if, oh, it's not a big deal at all. Hey, lying and saving a life there, then I'll go for lying. It's a straightforward matter. I'd rather lie than let someone be killed. But it has implications, big time implications. In fact, people can testify against others and they will die because we have approved lying. So whichever posture you take or position you take on such a matter, you should have a defensible view for it. You should see that there are possible counter views, and then you can now defend it based on what you think should be the case. It should always have it. So I don't have a yes or no to that. It will depend on the context. In certain contexts, if you ask Nancy, myself, I won't tell a lie. I'll tell the truth. Perhaps in others, I will reconsider. Okay. Look at those of us who do a little Bible. Look at Rahab and the two spies. Was lying good at that time? If you don't know, you can Google Rahab, Joshua chapter 2.
Yes,
Huh. Was lying good at that time? Don't let me
that's
throw
good.
your theology upside down. What do you people?
I think it was God's plan for her to do that.
So then there we go, making it God's plan. So it means that if we say, thou shalt not lie, my dear friend, yes, it is true, but could we be exempted in certain questions? I'm just asking questions. Someone was told, when you go kill everybody on that land, he was a king in the Old Testament, King Saul. When you go kill everybody, the guy when did as he was instructed and left the king of that nation and some of the cattle and things that he's coming to sacrifice to our Father in heaven. What was his? What was the judgment on him? He didn't kill everybody. He had a problem. Is thou shalt not kill the law? Are we allowed to kill? Do you know why I'm using that? I want to use an authoritative text that I believe in fully to show us that life is not always white and black, even in the scripture. That's why we need an immediate, ever present help in the Holy Spirit, if you believe in Him, to every time help you see what you should do at what time. That's now me professing what I believe in to answer Emmanuel's question. Okay. And so in a certain context, perhaps, it's just perhaps, you may want to tell a lie. May. In others, you may not want to. So it is not a straightforward matter like that. I'm just trying to help you see things with a wider perspective than you are used to. You think that it is this, not that. It has to be this and not that. Philosophy opens your mind and helps you see why sometimes what we think we know may not be what it is. And therefore what? And therefore we make a more informed, more practically useful, uh, mm, uh, decisions. I could go on and on and on with the Bible. I just pick one and show us. It is not contradictory at all. It just means that you must get the spirit of the law, if you like, not the letter. Otherwise, the letter kill it. Okay, back to where we were. Any other question, please? Emmanuel's hand is still up. Do we have any other question? If not, we are done. Okay, so there is no other hand up. That's it. Keep telling them for me. They keep saying, Madam, I'll sack all of them from my class. Thank you for yesterday. Your class rep was helpful. She assisted most of you. You had to be here carrying this thing. You people made your chief. God will bless her for that. All right. Please, do we have any other question? I've gone to the chat room. I didn't see a question. Okay, then we are so done. We will meet. Okay, so a hand just went up. Emmanuel, your hand is up again. Emmanuel Tibila Buasa. Go ahead, sir.
Please, you said the business ethics. We'll be doing it next week.
No, I'll give you that before Monday. You see. The
Okay.
business ethics will be we'll use business ethics to discuss the ethical issue of deontology versus what? Consequentialism. Normally,
Yes.
we would have just done deontology, consequentialism, utilitarianism, what have you. But you won't at this level, it will not be substantial. You say, so if I know consequences versus rule, then what? But we want to show you that just like we've done with informed consent, there we were discussing autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance in the context of what? Medical practice. We could have taken it to cultural issues where the culture prescribes that you can't marry from so and so place and you want to do otherwise. One sister asked that person in one of the sessions that if I want to marry someone and people say we don't marry from there, or I am a Christian, for example, and I want to marry a Muslim. So we could have taken that discussion to a religious setting. So you see how practical philosophy is. But we use the medical one, which touches everybody one way or the other. Now we are going to do another ethical question, which is bordering on what? How to make decisions, the moral standards that ground decision. Are decisions grounded by its consequences? If I want to tell whether what I'm doing is right or wrong, remember ethics, the right or the wrong. Remember ethics, what is good or bad? It's a question of good or bad, right or wrong. Metaphysics, the question of what is really the reality existent. Epistemology is the question of what we know and what we can justify. What can we really be setting up? Okay, certainty, etc. So read it. That all of these are in the first video. Or if you go to resources, you see the raw slides without the video talk over, the voice over it. It gives you that background. And then we are now engaging questions that have ethical intonation, philosophical questions bordering on ethics. The first one is what we have engaged. We still want to do another one, but this time the focus is on what informs our decision. If I want to perform an action, what standard influences my action? If I'm looking for what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad, you see, that's an ethical issue, good and bad. What drives my decision? Do I look at the consequences of my action to determine whether it is right or wrong? Or I look at the principle on which I'm making the decision. So will I tell a lie because ultimately to save a life? If I'm going to tell a lie because it will save a life, then it means my decision is influenced by what? The consequences, what I'll get from it, not so much how I got it. Will I follow someone's husband and build a house? Will I pay a bribe, for example, so I get an A? An A is good. It's a good consequence. But what is the rule that grounded that decision? So for some philosophical persuasion, perspectives, they think that even if you got the best result, consequence, if the means you used, the means here meaning what principle, the means you used is questionable. If it is questionable, then the action is wrong, regardless of its outcome. So if I steal, like I've said over and over again, to take care of my sick mother and she gets well, those who think that it is the rule that influences the rightness or wrongness of an action, that determines the wrongness or rightness of an action. Those who think the rule is the deciding factor will say that your action is wrong, even if your mother got well and she now has a big shop and she's taking care of the whole family. They think that you stole. Stealing is wrong. We don't care what it brought. That is for such people who think. Now we are doing the business ethics in there. It's not difficult, really, because it's very practical. Those who hold that view are the ones we call the deontologists. And the face to that view is Immanuel Kant. There are several others, but Immanuel Kant stands out. His Immanuel is spelled with an I. I don't want people spelling Immanuel Kant with an E. He's a seminal author. It's a known name. Don't write Immanuel Kant with my friend Emmanuel Tibile's name here. My second born is called Emmanuel. His Emmanuel is an E. But the Kant too is not C-A-N-T. It's capital K-A-N-T. If you write it wrongly, I'll take a mark out. That's what I'm telling you. Like I won't bother to tell you. But people's names are important to them. Okay. All right. So I'm saying that consequences or rule. Kant and his folks, who are described as what? Deontologists. Dion. I'll give you the slide so that Dion, they are guided and influenced by the principle undergirding your action. We call them the deontologists. They don't care what the consequences was, good or bad. We don't look there. They say an action is right or wrong based on the principle or the rule that grounded that action. So if you stole and stealing is wrong, then the action is wrong. We don't care whether after stealing, it led to saving the whole nation. We are not. When Rahab told a lie, the whole Israel was preserved. We don't care. The action was wrong. Then there is the other school of thought. And so now, Emmanuel, I've done the lecture for you. Okay. Those who say that, well, it is the consequences, what came out of it, that matters, not the principle per se. Now I'm saying it in a crude way so that I get a fair idea of the two extremes. And now when we start opening it out, you see that there are those that are act utilitarians and those that are rule utilitarians and etc. etc. Okay, you will see what the act utilitarians think and those that are rule utilitarians, what they think. Now, but the main opposite view to Kant's deontology is what? The consequentialist view, those who look at the consequences of an action. So they will say, oh, the stealing there in itself will be neither wrong, right or wrong. What will determine or what can be the standard for establishing the rightness or wrongness of an action would be what? Whether it yielded utility, usefulness. Was it useful? So we have utilitarians, okay? Utilitarians. Later on, you see hedonists and what have you. But the focus for contrasting deontology will be what? The utilitarian view, utility. How useful was that action? Did it benefit the greatest? Did it have the greatest good for the greatest number of people? So you will see that the greatest good for the greatest number. That is a utilitarian view. But the utilitarian views come in two different ways. The two main faces you will see for utilitarianism are what? J.S. Mill, John Stuart Mill, J.S. Mill. I think I have it on the screen now. Okay, so after we have done all the initial ones, this is what I'll send you videos on these two topics. Where is my annotator? Perhaps you may have to share this after all because I've added some good content. You see on the screen that we have, after doing this, lecture 3. Why lecture 3? Because lecture 1, I already explained. Look at all these have been covered. I've taken your questions on it. If you are doing your bit of the interactions, then you are good. The emphasis is quite major. You must know what he says philosophy is. You must have practical instances of the impact that philosophers have made. If you Google the unexamined life, you'll get some good reading on that. That's it over there. I've asked your TAs to take you through some of the historical, impact that philosophy has made. So if you go for tutorials, you should do fine. You see that there are several tutorial links posted on your official WhatsApp platforms. And I keep saying you should be on only one. If you are on more than one, you get several. The same notices will be repeated here and there. You will get frustrated. Everything I tell is for a reason, my dear friends. To be on one. If it turns out that on that one platform something was wrongly communicated, we can easily deal with it. Than when you are on all the platforms, then on one of the platforms you are saying this, and then in reaction to that we say something, then you are passing it on somewhere. You see? So this morning I have taken about 6 or so people from some platforms because whilst addressing their concerns, I noticed that they are on 3 different platforms. If I had to do that again, I'll take a mark from you. I take 1 mark for every disobedience to the instructions. Not just the raw disobedience, but the one that affects us all. I'll take a mark. I think that will help. 1 mark, you see how important 1 mark can be. Anyway, so if you go for tutorials, I've given some outlines that I'm asking your TAs to discuss with you. Tutorial is not another lecture. You will get confused. Tutorial is a place where we open up more illustrations, clarity. Okay, so this one, can you give me an example of this? That is it. Okay, and it is part of the 3 credit hours we want you to cover. All right, so you will get that there. And I will ask you an exam question on that. Or I should say, I will assess you on that. It can be exam, it can be continuous assessment. Okay, that is for this bit. You will get the links sent to you. Your tutorial will begin week 2, and you will get a link for every day. There will be a TA each of the days. Okay, so when that notice finally comes out, you're waiting for the last link. Every day there will be a tutorial for you, and we have done it in a way that we can have main campus and city campus links. But I keep saying that because our schedules are different and maybe the available times allocated for city campus may be Monday 6:30 to whatever. At that time, you won't be able to. If the link is given to all of you, whether main or city, it helps you to still access content, even if you miss the one that was scheduled for you. You see that? So all the links will be posted, and you may be able to attend any of them at any time. Every day there will be a tutorial ongoing, and the whole week there's a clearly defined content that my TAs have been instructed to keep to, because I am going to assess you in a certain way. If they want to help, they will keep that. And then you also keep them there rather than asking them things that will impress you, but then probably will not be examinable. Okay. The guide is our course outline that you see now. So you see that here, how to read and write philosophy, all these things, we have done it. Then introducing ethics. I have given you a lecture video on that also, where we have interacted. Then after you have a fair introduction to the content called ethics, then we went into an, a practical instance of ethics. I've said all this already, medical ethics, where we are focusing on personhood, autonomy, and informed consent. I have a lecture video on this also, and about 3 or so interactive sessions on just this topic. The one that I plan to add for our lecture is this: utility or rule. So are you going to look at the utilitarian value of an act, or you are going to look at rules that grounded that act to determine it being right or wrong? Moral standard. What will influence the moral standards that are important to you? When you want to determine whether an action is right or wrong, what will be the guide? Will you look at the utility, the usefulness of that act, or you will be interested in whether the act was based on, say, a universalizable rule that can, etc., etc. This will be expanded a bit more when you get to level 300. Moral philosophy is a core in philosophy, okay? Moral philosophy proper. But at this level, you'll be introduced to it. So utility or rule. And I'll tie it in, this lecture, I'll tie it in with the various ways of determining right or wrong. Objectivity, relativity. In other words, is what is right or wrong relative to who is speaking. I've told you that, for instance, I'll give some trivial examples. If I wear this earring for a certain religious group, for instance, that is wrong or right. For a certain group of people, eating your dead grandma is an honor you are doing them. For some people, if you are speaking to an elderly person, for example, and you use your left, it is wrong culturally. For some group of people, marrying more than one is wrong. For others, marrying more than one is actually a sign of benevolence. You are helping the desperate women to not feel cold at night, or you are helping take care of desperate women since the men are more than men. I want to give you some very accessible instances. We will engage it more with what substantive content to show you that we can be objective about our values, but could it be that our values weren't objective at all, that they are relative? Or even better still, could it be that they are subjective? Relative is talking about a collective group of people, cultural, religious, contextual, versus another context. So LGBTQT, for example, in certain contexts, may not be an issue at all. They might not even say, what is wrong with that? If a brother and a brother feel they are a brother and a sister, how can that be an issue? For certain contexts, it could be cultural, it could be religious. But for others, that's a big deal problem, man. You have a calf. Can't you see? You're an into. You say you're a sister? That is how another group of people, it may be a cultural group, it may be a religious group, it may be a national group, may disagree that that is right or wrong. Okay, so this is relative. The rightness or wrongness being what? Relative to a group. Then we may have those that think of right or wrong in terms of what? The subject. Subject, me, myself, and I, and you. Okay, not necessarily relative, where it's a collection of us versus a collection of others. But we may have me, Nancy, Dr. Miles, just truly, my father's daughter, versus you. So this one too, the person is saying, I determine what I think is right or wrong, and not you. When I put my hand in water and it is cold, I feel it. A man is the measure of all things. A man. So for such a philosophy, what is right or wrong is determined by the subject, not even the collective us versus the collective them relativity. And not, oh, all of us human beings know that killing is wrong, the objective one. That one is detached from any context. Okay. Then the last one that I'll tie in with this one will be what? The emotivist view. That's a bit tricky. They don't even accept at all. If someone is an emotivist, the person doesn't even believe or accept at all that the question of morality has anything to do with truth. That is not even an assertion. Moral claims don't state any verifiable claim. It's not a matter of true or false. It's just people's emotions that they are expressing. So if I say it is wrong to kill, because I've used the term wrong, such people think that expression is just equal to saying adi or ouch. They are called emotivists. It means you didn't make any claim of knowledge, cognitive, meaningful knowledge. You didn't, according to the emotivist. When you say uh, you shouldn't talk back at your supervisor, that prescription, moral prescription you have made, they say it's just an expression of someone's emotions, feelings. And feelings can be here today and the next minute they are gone. So they aren't even really claims of truth per se, says the emotive. Now see, the subjectivist says, no, moral claims are claims of truth. They are assertions. They are saying something that can be true or false, yes. But the truth or falsity depends on me, the subject. I determine whether this is right or wrong, true or false. Abortion is evil. The subjectivist says it depends on the subject. So it depends on what the Nancy thinks. It depends on what Emmanuel thinks. It depends on what Gifty thinks. So it is Gifty that defines the rightness or wrongness of an action. That's the subjectivist. We'll interrogate them now. So if I see you and I think it's okay to rape, in my view, raping is okay. You think raping is not okay. You see the confusion that society will have. So we are going to examine those views, their strengths, their weaknesses. Where does it work? Talk subjectivism. And where is it impossible at all? Especially when we are dealing with ethics. Now, relativists are not saying it has to depend on the specific subject per se. They are saying it has to depend on the context, cultural, business, religious, national, etc. Okay, so they make it a collective. This is a collective. And the objectivist says that what is right or wrong is not dependent on any context, any person, or your emotions. Not at all. It's a clear statement of truth, whose truth or falsity does not depend on you. So killing is wrong objectively, whether you like it or yes. It is an objective truth out there. It is not the context that defines what is true or false, or excuse me, right or wrong. It's not the context. Don't say, oh, we are Ghanaian, that's why it's okay to practice. We don't do that here, thankfully, gloriously. But we are Ghanaian, that's why killing is wrong. Killing is okay for us. So you have to let us practice our human sacrifice thing. Let us be Ghanaian. No, says the objectivist. You may be Ghanaian or from Zaire or Ghana or wherever. Killing is wrong objectively. So what will be the strengths and weaknesses? So on and so forth. We'll engage that. Okay. I'm saying that in answer to Emmanuel Tibila directly now. These two contents, which are still on ethics, will be delivered to you by video. Okay. Hopefully by close of day today, I would have mounted. I think we have quite a number of students now on the platform. We may still have a few who are still struggling, but we won't be able to trail any longer. The first week just went. So I'll upload that onto the channel. You get prompts as soon as it's done if you are subscribed. If you are not, just check again. I don't know how else. I won't be able to prompt every individual. I'll upload the content on the platform, the reminder on the Sakai platform. But if you are on the channel proper, as soon as it's done, you get a prompt. Then you engage those lectures and bring your questions to my online sessions later. But for our in-person lecture, God willing, on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, depending on which group you signed up for main campus. And then for City Campus on Wednesday, 12:10 to 2:10 or 2:30 to 4:30. As for City Campus, it is on Wednesday. The Fridays will be for your online discussion. Okay? For the in-person lecture, which we'll have for week 2, we are going to discuss Plato's two worlds. The question of reality versus appearance. We would have moved out of our ethical zone, philosophical questions bordering on ethics, right and wrong, good and bad. We would enter into the question of reality, what really exists, what is there. And our seminal text will be Plato's Allegory of the Cave. You can do the question of reality versus appearance without looking at Plato. Don't say Plato, my dear friend. It's Plato, Socrates or Socrates. So that is what we'll discuss. It's quite an extensive text saying so much. So if you are all read up before you come, then the discussions will be very beneficial to you. And if you come to hear it for the first time from me, after all the resources made available to you, I even asked you to come to my office and pick a reading for me myself. So I'm sure that you were not given a certain exorbitant price for content that people have compiled for you. They have compiled 15 cities, 1.5, for all the references that we feel you have difficulty accessing. You come, you sign up for it and you pick and go. So you have the content, the hard copy with you. If you haven't come for that yet, you can Google this, the Allegory of the Cave, and get content on it. The thing is, you should have read before you come for the in-person lecture. I could do a marathon in class. Ask them to tell you. Marathon means I come and say, take sheets of paper. What, according to Plato, is this? And it is not a matter of substance where you say, but we haven't even listened to a lecture on it. It's a matter of when you read the English that you passed coming to University of Ghana. You saw something that he put there. Plato said there are two worlds. What are their names? That's why I don't have to come and tell you at the lecture. That's my university teacher. You should see, he wrote it down that there are two worlds, the world of this and the world of that. I can do a marathon. So you should be read up before you come, either on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, main or city campus. I'll upload this video. I think they'll need that content. Okay? That's what we'll do, God willing, the coming week. And we'll focus only on this because it will just be a repetition. After Tuesday's session, Wednesday will be a repetition, main or city campus. I will be there in person to take your questions and help clarify this content for you. Thursday will be the same topic. That's why you don't have to attend all those 5 main campus. You are there, city, are there. You won't even be able to. Okay. Then the week after, week 3, which is still in person, if you have checked the updated course syllabus that I posted this morning. Now that all are clear, week 3 will also be in-person discussions or lecture. We'll discuss the question of the self, what makes you who you are, distinct from me and you when you were in class 1 and you right now. What is that which makes you the same person and distinct from you? What about you helps to establish that distinction? We will engage that. Any questions, please? Any questions? Do we still have any question? Yes, Emmanuel, go ahead.
Please, the approaches to studying philosophy.
Please speak up, Emmanuel. Is it only Emmanuel that we have in the class? Next time I'll do a personal interactive time with Emmanuel alone. I need to go.
Thank you, Doc.
Yo, go ahead.
Okay, the approaches to studying philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
The speculative approach. There's this thing and the critics. Like it's impossible and nonsense. Like I don't know from which view can we say that it's impossible and nonsense.
About that, you said speculative and what? Analytic.
Approach.
An
No,
analytic approach. What have they done?
I'm talking about the speculative approach.
Yeah.
The critic there is saying that it is impossible and nonsense.
Yes.
And I'm saying that from which point of view or from which view do you say that it's
Nonsense, as in you don't sense it. It's not experiential. Okay. If I say there is life after death, that is I'm engaging in a deliberation that is not sense. You don't use your five senses to establish that. How many of us have died and gone and come back? You see,
nobody?
I say man is born free. Or if you are engaging in a philosophical question of freedom, free will, determinism, you are free. You make your free choices. Then someone says, no, I don't think so. I think that our choices are compelled, but we didn't decide to do so and so. The discussion we are engaging is not a sensed one, not one that you can use your senses to establish true or false. It's speculative. So sometimes the critique is that all these discussions we are having, how do we ever establish truth based on sense experience or empirical observation? That's the critique.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay. Then this is a very good question. Then for the analytic uh, folks, our critique against them is that sometimes they are overly language dependent. What does it mean to be this? What does it mean to be that? Meanwhile, the question of whether it is actually so or not is ongoing. You're wasting time dealing with the language, the logic of it. It should have been this. It could have been that. If you use the language, clarify this. What do you mean by right? What do you mean by justice? And we keep sitting doing what is justice. What is this? Whilst people are being treated unjustly out there. Okay, so that is the critique from those who want to approach philosophy from a speculative perspective against those who want to approach it from purely analytic one. But the truth is, you can't have a purely analytic reflection without making some speculative assumptions. Neither can you have a purely speculative reflection without some assumptions of meaning. You have to have a certain connotation that you are working with when it comes to the terms and terms. So there seems to be overlap, but those are the two approaches. Very good question. What's the next question, if there is any, please? I see a lot of chats, about 57 of them. I hope they are just your own interrogation of matter. Should I give some few minutes for you to engage? Okay, so I'm waiting for your questions.
Yes.
Okay, I'm waiting. When the hand goes up, then I'll take it. I'm waiting. Oh, if we keep long, it's just a longer recording we have. If not, then we should end. Then when you have a question, then send it to me.
Doctor, no question.
Madam, no no question for now. So if you have question, we'll let you.
Hello, friends. So I'm saying that if you don't have any questions, then we can end. Wow.
Yes.
But
So
you
if
people,
you have
this
question,
gentleman,
we will let you.
yes, send them to me directly all the time. If I think that the question you asked will be useful to the rest of the class, I'll send it on the channel. Then those who want to can download it. Please, are you able to download the videos? I don't know whether anything happens. I'm trying to structure them into UGRC, PHCL 102,
Madam.
204, and so on. I don't know how.
Yeah, we were able.
Madam, which one? The one at Sakai.
I put no. Sakai doesn't have space.
The one at Sakai.
I know.
Sakai
Yes,
doesn't have.
madam, I've been able to download.
Madam,
Check your thing. Let me check.
I downloaded it, but it's not coming
it's
on
not-
my.
okay.
Wow.
Sakai doesn't give us space to upload video. There is no space for that there. Sakai can only give you the link. That's why I have given you a direct direction to the source. So you go there. If you go to the YouTube there, you can pick it quickly from there. Why? Okay. I think we should end. Have a wonderful week. So the next, when will we meet next? Let me see.
Wednesday.
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 Next week.
Next week,
Next week, Wednesday.
In person.
I'm
Yes.
This gentleman to
Wondering.
Madam,
Amen. Who is doing this? Mute it, please. Next week, Wednesday, in person.
Oh no.
In person. Why? The in persons, I'll hold both slots. So you are not, oh man, how be brave. If you can be at the first one, come for the second one. Why? If you can be for both, it will be a nuisance to you. You'll be overwhelmed. Then when we finish and we think that some content is very good that we should add, then we all agree, then we add one. I'll upload it there. If I upload everything, I feel that you feel the edge to engage about. If imagine there are 10 uploaded question and answer time for just one topic. Someone will feel, hey, I've not listened to this one, I have to listen to this one, it's become too much. So we will upload one. But what did I say upload? The online one said, but the in-person we won't upload. I plan, listen to my expression very, I plan to give you video lectures on all the topics to help you. So what's my idea? Even if we do in person, I plan to give you that uploaded one so that you can always have something you hear to help what you are reading. But under normal circumstances, if I meet you in person, like people were doing our in-person lecture, why should I come and upload any other video later? Did my mother give birth to me for you? You know, but it will be helpful. So I plan to do that.
okay, Mom, please upload the slides for us.
They are there.
The slides.
They are there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The slides.
I saw only that of critical thinking, but PHCL I have not seen.
Slides. No, please go to the resource today. Are there. They were even put there before school reopened for you.
Hey, okay, thank you.
Why? You check. If you check and you don't see it, prompt me. Yesterday I sent one link. The link took you all to critical thinking. Those who went to the Good 5 platform. It was actually for critical thinking. So I corrected that and I sent an updated. So if there is any such, you prompt me and I'll correct. But the slides should be there. You have slides for what is philosophy, raw slides without the video. Then you have for informed consent. Introduce.
Yeah, we need it.
They are there. Then
Okay, they are there.
There was a hand up. It was Grace's hand. Grace, please, are you sorted? Grace's hand was up. If you are okay, then we can end now. Thank you very much. This will
yes, Madam, I'm okay.
All right. You have a wonderful week, you all. And then the third week will be in person. Then the week after that, I wish you all well. I'll be in the office to close
Simon, throw more light on it for us.
Oh, I've thrown some plenty torchlight and I've thrown lights.
Yeah.
Please listen to the City Campus video. I think it was a 12:10.
We didn't get it.
Oh, it's on Sakai. Why is it that you tell me you didn't get it? It's on YouTube. Okay, it's on
Okay,
YouTube.
madam.
I uploaded
Go and
3 or 4 interactive sessions
do that.
on unit 1 to lecture 1, 2, and 3. Listen to all of them. You get content on approaches. You get content on autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance. You get content on answering that assessment. That assessment is nothing. I want you to read the text and see what, Ajay and Miles said can be an alternative way of dealing with allowing people's autonomy to come to, allowing people to, even when they are, let me say it wrong, even the person you can enforce autonomy by not necessarily depending on that individual, because human persons in the African context are not just individuals. They are individuals with communal relations. So if you want to respect her autonomy, you need not necessarily always have to depend on that human individual sitting there. Because there isn't an individual. So you can depend on something else about her and it will still be a fulfillment of autonomy. Okay, that is what I'm asking you to see. Then now you critique that. So because I will upload this, I'm safe. I'll put it there for your colleagues. Otherwise, I've given you some small direction that will help you. Go and read the text. Have you read it? Okay, I don't know.
Now we're going to read it. I started reading, but we are not.
If you want to
Madam, go and read it.
I'm ending. If you want to go and sit at a library or
Madam, we're going to read it.
if you want to go and sit at a
Hey.
if you want to go and sit at a library or relax or designer before you read, you will never read anything in all your courses. When you sit in the Uber and it is bringing you to campus, you spend maybe 20 minutes on the way. That can read 3 pages. That can listen to a full lecture. I'm telling you, that's how you do this thing in maybe philosophy. Then the next one, when you are using the washroom, apologies, you are sitting on the thing and something is descending, you will also be uploading. You are holding that, it's an earphone. Rather than be listening to some music or something, you can put the earphone on with the phone there. And that 20 minutes, by the time you finish downloading, you would have uploaded content. I'm just giving you innovative ways of accessing. You are in the watching queue. You should make use of that time. By the time they serve you, the 10 minutes or 15 minutes, you would have listened to the first 20 minutes of sociology. Maybe you're not seeing the video, but you hear that the lecturer saying and this and that, and then you have a fair idea. When you sit in the evening before you sleep and you do your 30 minutes over it, you see that it is just a reminder. So I want to tell you, you see that flat material you come to purchase at 15 cedis. If God doesn't help us, we may not even be able to finish. Philosophy is not history. Hey. I'm telling you, with a big book. No. Even the first page, as you read, will reflect it. So you need, yes, you need to have done the reading, discussions, all the extra things we are adding to make your life even more fun. It will impact the other person. You come and tell me. Read it and then respond. And I wish you well later. The wonderful.
It's a little bit complicated.
Not complicated. One can complicated. The thing is, you want to narrate, you want to tell a story, and then that time Socrates said this, and they were going for the Achilles, and then this one. No. You can't do that at first. Storytelling, we'll go to Google, we'll get all that. Read the content and know what they said, and then now tell them that if you make us approach this issue this way, we may have this challenge. It will deal with this, but we may have this challenge. Even the lecture I delivered on that, getting to the latter part of it, commented on possible reactions people can have to reconcile that. You should do fine. 600 words. Even if you cop out, it will come. Take it.